we're heading toward one of the most anticipated fights ever. Yeah, you know what we're talking about, Vasiliy Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. It's gonna be exciting, so make sure you've cleared out your calendars because it's not far off. In today's video, we'll talk about why Loma has no chance of beating Devin Haney, so make sure to stay until the end of the video to learn all about it. First up, why is Haney probably winning? Alright folks, do y'all remember Mickey Bay? You know, the bloke from Ohio who also happens to be a former IBF lightweight champion. Yeah, him. He believes that the former 3-division world champion, Vasiliy Lomachenko, can't defeat the undisputed lightweight champion, Devin Haney. Haney's going into this fight 29-0 with 15 knockouts. The fight will be in early 2023. The interesting thing to note here is that Loma's the one that would have been favored if it wasn't for his poor performance against Jermaine Ortiz on October 29, 2022. And that poor performance is pretty much why Bay is giving Loma no shot of beating Devin. On the other hand though, Haney's future remains uncertain too. He lacks power, and his punch resistance has been abysmal. He's pretty much only using his size advantage over his rivals at 135 to win. But then again folks, what if he moves up to 140? Then he's gonna start competing against equally big fighters, such as Regis Prograis. But Loma's fight in October changed the minds of most boxing fans, because they now believe that Loma has slipped because of general inactivity and aging. After all, he's 34 years old. On the other hand, Haney's only 24, so he had a huge advantage. At the same time, Bay has claimed that Haney's got a lot of talent and maturity, so he's not gonna have any issues beating the 2-time Olympic gold medalist. As you watch this video, Loma's 17-2 with 11 knockouts. Not as good as Haney, but Loma does have that extra experience, so let's see what that's gonna do for the guy. Next up, the match isn't even certain. Yeah, we know we told you to clear out your calendars, and now we're telling you that Haney versus Lomachenko hasn't even been negotiated. Here's why we did that: because Bay believes the match will take place. And well, we believe Bay. When he was asked if Devin Haney will defeat Vasiliy Lomachenko when the pair touch gloves in early 2023, here's what he said: 1000%. Lomachenko is an excellent fighter, but that's why you've got to give Devin credit at his age to fight him, because most young guys aren't taking the tough fights anymore. They're kind of waiting until they get older. They're not doing it like that. He also stated that once Devin beats Loma, he's going to be placed high in the top pound-for-pound rankings. He also revealed that Devin wanted to take on Loma when he was just 20 years old, and that he's been training Devin to take on Lomachenko since then. So he believes that there's more than a chance that the match will go Haney's way. He even revealed that Haney used to call him, and by him we mean Bay, over to his house, saying, "Let's train for Lomachenko." At the time, Bay felt that Loma could beat Devin, but now it's a different story, and he doesn't see it ever happening. Bay explained that Devin is now too mature, and while Loma's a great fighter, he just doesn't think that the Ukrainian has it in him to beat him anymore. He doesn't have that style that you need to have to deal with Devin. Up next, what else did Bay say? Folks, the point is, it's going to be an interesting, great fight, and Devin is a competitive guy, so it's for sure going to be entertaining. Mickey Bay has stated that Devin's not scared of a challenge, and if someone's going to challenge him, he's gonna give them 110%. He also claimed that Haney should beat Loma because it's the styles that make fights. And then Bay was asked whether Haney will even receive credit for beating Loma since he looked kinda bad. You know what we mean. So Bay stated that anyone can have a bad night, and that's just part of the game. Here's the thing about boxing, right? It's the only sport where people stop believing you and your abilities after just one poor performance. In soccer, football, or even basketball, you could lose tons of times, but folks aren't gonna write you off. They're still going to believe in your abilities and talents. Even in the UFC, this doesn't seem to be as much of an issue as it's become in boxing. But Mickey thinks that no matter what, Devin should be getting full credit for fighting Lomachenko, because Loma won against a tough fighter. He has experience from that fight and his other fights, so credit should be due, regardless of his recent performance. Moving on, what do boxing fans have to say? So we've spent quite some time talking about what Mickey Bay has to say, and yeah, being who he is means we should listen to him. But at the same time, we should not ignore folks who have been fans of the sport for a while now. One fan stated that Loma has been on a constant decline, and that's what concerns him. The user said that while they don't see Loma beating Haney, saying that he has no chance is also just exaggerating the whole thing. The user went on to remind Mickey that everyone has a chance, and the fan believes that the only reason they believe Vasiliy has a shot is that it's been his dream to be undisputed, so we may end up seeing the best of him one last time. One fan did not agree with Mickey. That fan believes that Bay is just talking nonsense. He stated that Loma's aging, and he's involved with the war in Ukraine, but at the same time, he has enough fights left in him to beat anyone from his weight class. One fan didn't feel like getting into who's gonna win. They stated that this is gonna be a great fight, and that was all they were interested in. Another fan completely took Bay's side and stated that Haney has a resume that's just a lot better than Loma's, and hence he he just has a better shot at beating the Ukrainian. Now for why the Haney vs Lomachenko fight should be a watershed for both. So as we just talked about, Devin Haney and Vasiliy Lomachenko are both currently in negotiations for a fight that we've all been waiting for. And even after the Ukrainian struggled recently, the hype is still super real. But this fight could end up being a watershed for both of them. Here's why. Haney can no longer make the lightweight limit comfortably, and Loma on the other hand is spent against the best at 135. This division has always been kind of a stretch for him, don't you think? The trust is super featherweight or even feather is where Lomachenko thrives. But as we all know, the money has been at 135. Haney was present at the Loma v Ortiz fight. That's where he saw a beatable, slower, and hittable Loma. And even though Loma won, it was by margins a lot thinner than anyone would have expected. Vasiliy was pretty much dwarfed by Jermaine, because no matter how good Loma is, the trust is that no one can escape time. Like, don't you remember 2 years ago? Teofimo Lopez showed that Loma's years were catching up to him by exposing the first signs of decline. And yeah, there's no doubt about the fact that since then, he's recorded 3 wins. But these wins have come at a cost. He's suffered the effects of wear and tear. Now, shots have started hurting him. Haney's just naturally quick though. He's not once, but twice outboxed George Kambosos. He's so quick that he takes away his opponent's strengths, just constantly peppering them with combinations. What's more, would peak Loma beat Haney? When Loma was young, his greatest asset was his speed. However, of course, that's diminished, and he knows that. This is why he isn't really comfortable against fighters who are quicker than him. He won't be able to outpace Haney. But wait, he does have a trick up his sleeve. His awkward angles and feints will still end up giving Devin a tough time. The truth is, peak Loma would have easily beaten Haney. Like, come on, don't tell us you've forgotten those phenomenal feet and the movement that would have just destroyed Devin. But he doesn't have that anymore. Time's caught up to him. And then there's the fact that Haney's a unit. He will be boiled into the weight, yes, but when they enter the ring, the difference could easily be 14 pounds. So while it's clear that peak Loma could have easily taken on Haney, chances are that he's going to struggle quite a bit on match day. Now, all we can do is just wait and see what happens. Finishing up, why this fight should be boxing's next blockbuster. These days, the problem is that boxing tends to get in its way. It's not organized in a linear style like most leagues, and so the problem is the fights that would be the biggest, the fights that would make the most sense, just don't end up happening. Blame it on whatever you want. Sometimes it's a combination of things, and sometimes it's just one thing, such as hatred between the fighters themselves. But the point is, this problem needs to be fixed. A showdown between Haney and Loma is exactly what boxing needs, and it's exactly what the fans want. And here's the thing, right? Even Haney admitted that this fight is something that he would entertain. One's more experienced, while one's younger and hungrier. If this fight ends up happening, it'll be huge for the sport, and that's exactly what it needs right now. And let's not forget, even Loma wants this. He claimed that he prepared for this moment and that he needs his chance. He's hungry, and we really shouldn't deny him this opportunity. And with all that, that's a wrap for this video. When Loma and Haney eventually fight, who do you think would end up winning and why? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.